So let me start by congratulating you and asking you how you feel as you move close to the birthday. It's just 2, 3 weeks away.
How I feel.
Yes. What's on your mind about hitting the
The 80. Now, I don't feel anything. I just feel the same. I believe age is a matter of figures. Um, I have younger friends who look older than me. For one reason or the other, maybe it's just because, but I don't feel anything. I don't see any. The only difference I can see is 80 is not 79, but I don't see any difference.
what's on your mind? What are you thinking about? What are the thoughts that come to you?
Yes, the thought that come to me, the thoughts that come to me, has been thoughts that have always come to me, not because I'm 80 now. The thought is that to see how the country is degenerating in every aspect, educationally, uh, health-wise, in everything. If you go, I went to my old school in the secondary school some few weeks back. I just passed. It was an eyesore. They are asking for old boys to come and contribute money to buy desks to the buildings and how. And this was a private school. So I feel, because when we were young, we had hopes that I just told you the day I got my first permanent job with a pharmaceutical firm, Russell Nigeria Limited. That same day, after the interview, I passed the interview, I was given a car loan form to fill. And I filled the form, and a check was given to me because of the loan that I was entitled to. The amount was just 5,000
Naira.
naira. And they gave me a check for 5,000. I went into Leventis, and then I drove home a brand new Renault 17TX Salon. And it was one of the few luxury cars. At 4,500, I still had change of 500, which we carried. Now, if you are living the house, 4,500 cannot even buy you bread for 1 week. I'm not talking of the fuel for the car. I'm talking of bread to eat. So all these things are thoughts. All these are thoughts that concern me. One, I'm thinking of my grandkids. How would this country look like in 10 years' time, in 20 years' time? I may not be around. How? If a man could buy a car just in 1977 for 4,000, we never knew what was called a tokobok. It was brand new. We had a pan, we had this Peugeot, this pan in Kaduna. Then we had the Volkswagen. Then there were imported cars. Just go in and buy. So when you start to think, I read in the papers, see nursery school, how much will it be? So it's alarming.
You never think Nigeria could get to this point?
No. At that time, people had, we had some, like me. I thought Nigeria would become one of the greatest nations in Africa. That is what I thought. And then if you go, I mean, I drive from here to Benin. I leave work by, I close the office by 5:30. I drive from Lagos to Benin by 6. And I arrive Benin by 9 for the 3 hours trip. And it's smooth journey, nobody, no fear, you know. But now, to get to Benin from here, now we are talking of 5 hours. And then you are afraid of taking a price. So everything has its own limit. And the saddest thing of all share is that our leaders seem to be living. I don't know whether they are from the moon, because they are not. Even they are young, but they had parents who told them stories of what they were all thinking like Nigeria would talk. But they are behaving as if nothing is wrong. They are not seeing anything wrong. Then you look at the set of politicians, and every day you say that you have no more, the country has no more. But you open the papers, EFCC is charging somebody for 2 point something billion, 66 billion, some trillion, and then I don't understand, but then you don't have that. There's no single airport in this country. No single good airport. If you go to sports, Nigeria used to excel. Not because they put the wrong people there. So the leadership of the country has taken it. They don't have any vision. They just all is about election and to be this and to be that. But there is no vision. There is no vision. That is what I say.
And I was going to ask, sir, is it true that you don't celebrate birthdays? Is it true you don't celebrate birthdays?
No.
Why, sir?
There is no reason. I knew the day I was born, so I don't celebrate. I knew the day I was born, I don't celebrate. What am I celebrating? I just mark it. I've told you I go to church. If it falls on a Sunday, I go to church just to do a Thanksgiving, self-assessment and reflection that I'm grateful to God to have. Because I know many of my classmates, when we are all young, together, have all gone. And if God has been sparing me, then I should just stop. So I don't really, I don't like
So how did you avoid it in those days when you had so many friends? Would they allow your birthday to just come and go like that without?
No, I've told you twice they arrange what they call surprise. One was in, I think, when I was 70. Another one was when I was 73 or so. His friends who just celebrate once a week. Fine, and I cannot, I can't refuse that. It's not a matter of money, but I just never looked at it as something. But 80 years in this type of country, one has to thank God. So that is why when my friends said, I want to do something, I said, fine. I got appreciate that. It shows that there are some people who think I'm worth celebrating. So I should thank my God for that. For people having that thought.
Then I'd like to know, sir, do you miss the active days of running night shift?
No, that is it. Many people have asked me. I don't miss it. And then I will tell you the history of, if you have said this a lot of times, you need to repeat before. How the night shift evolved, I was having a regular and very durable paid job, and I was enjoying the job and all the remunerations. I left there as an executive director, the first Nigerian and African to hold that position in the schedule class worldwide. So everything was going for me as a young man, married, had kids, had a good house, good car. And so I set up the club as it was my passion. So, and the passion grew to the extent that I said, "Oh, for me to enjoy this passion, I have to resign from my job because I cannot do the two together." And my office was quite aware because right from the word go, when they promoted me as executive director, I told them I cannot do this for more than 5 years because I have a life ambition to hold. And they were aware and they assisted me. Most of my medical equipment, most of the items I use when I open were imported by them. So um, I enjoyed it when the passion was there. But after 30 years, with age, after 30 years, my clientele, the main focus of the collision acquisition was a targeted audience. And when I discovered that audience I feel at home with can no longer uh, patronize me, I felt I had no business just continue. I was not there because of the money. Although I enjoyed the money, but that was not the primary aim. For all the 30 years I ran, I never sat down a day. I had no chair. I never sat for any event. You can't come into the club and see me sitting. I loved it so. And when that drive is no more there, when the passion is no more there, since I was not looking for money as such, so there was no reason for job. And people always ask me, "Oh, why don't you groom your son or your daughter to take?" Then I used to answer, this is not a law firm. This is not a medical practice. Where if your son is a doctor, he can take over your certain school. Or if you are a lawyer, your son can inherit your life. This is something to do with is a personality. And the type of club I ran was not so much, although it was a commercial, but it was that was not overriding fact. I can as well tell you now that the money I gave, much of the money I gave from night shifts, the money I spent was almost as much of the money I gave. So there was no, it was not a commercial thing. So when I see that my passion can no more be satisfied, then I have to leave the stage where the operations are not best. Because the concept of the collision was well thought out and it was unique in every aspect. And so that uniqueness is tied to the period of time. Tied to the period of time. Like if you remember, if you are one of the standing policies, you don't dance on your seats. You must go to the dance floor because dance floor is created. Because the collision was modeled around it to be like a mini theater for shows. So, and now I could follow that policy then. And the type of people that patronized me understood why. Now, this generation is different. You go to a nightclub and people dance on top of chairs, on top of tables, because that is what job is. And so, I cannot run that type of thing. If my child is interested in nightclubbing and they want to run that type of club, fine, it's a generation. But night shift came at a particular time in my life and the life of this country where I needed some type of. So it is an opportunity for time and space.
Since that time, sir, since the time you left and now, what are the things you try to do or you've been doing?
But it's all I mean, you see, I'm writing my autobiography. But when I'm not writing, I go out, I still visit clubs, I still visit friends, I visit clubs once in a while. Except I may not have to go too far. But if you really have to go far, I have a drive. So I still do what normally I do. Because as long as I'm still physically fit, I should be able to move. I don't go, I mean, I'm not either with anything no. So until I'm not able to drive, until I'm not able to walk, then why should I not do what I'm doing?
Do you do business?
Hmm?
Do you do other businesses?
No. Even when I was running the club, I had no other business. I had no other business. And that is what I was telling you. That my focus was the success of my passion. And therefore, I never wanted any sort of distraction. If what I did, the type of money I needed, was not, I was never thinking I want to be a billionaire. Because I cannot, maybe if I was a billionaire, I would have died since long. I would have entered some sort of politics. There were things that I felt were taboo. Having too much money, having too much money, going into politics. I wanted to avoid it. So the income I was able to get from us was enough for me to live fairly well, to train all my kids to the level that they wanted. All my kids they wanted. They had all their masters and both. So I was able to achieve my aim. So I never needed too much money that will make me uncomfortable. I'm sure you entered my house. I have no security. Apart from the boy who opened the gate. I drive myself. You don't see anybody there. You don't see any cameras here that who will start to peep who is outside of me. So I want to live a very free life, which I believe. So um, um, my aim was never to have too much money because I pity the billionaires. I pity them because they don't have time for themselves. And once you have 1 million, you want to have two, you want to have three, you want to have four. So it goes on and on and on. And God never cut me out for success.
Sir, at 80, what are the lessons life has taught you?
So many lessons. Life is like it's a school where you learn. It's a school where you learn all the time. it never ends until you go to the grave. So so I cannot begin to tell you how many lessons, so many lessons. And more so, not just at 80, the type of job I did, which exposed me to different type of people, young, not too young, old, not too old. Um, you know, if you remember, if you catch your mind, if you remember when I knew you were young,
Yes, sir.
that shit,
Yes, sir.
yeah, it's a long time ago.
It's a long time, sir.
So, and my experience with you has taught me one or two small things. So, life is a continuous, it's a learning process until one dies. So many experiences. Uh, I cannot begin to look at. Everything is coming out in my book. The book is going to be very voluminous because at 80, if you are writing your autobiography, you cannot have as much material as somebody who is 80 years because I've seen more people, I've seen more things. Yes.
Yes, sir. At the end of the day, I would like you to tell us the kind of person that Ken Caleb Olumese is. Of course, many people see different sides to you. That those who see you as, of course, those who knew you at the time before you started the night shift, those who knew you after the night shift, and those who see you almost every day only at the club and all that. So there are different sides to. But looking back, sir, how do you define your very essence? Your very essence and the kind of person you are.
Well, I don't know, it's like, as I used to say, it's like when some blind men went to look at an elephant, and these blind men got their blind, but they know how elephants is used. And anybody who touches, it decide that they touch, that they say, oh, it's like war. It touches the horn. So they have different interpretations to describe that elephant. So people are free because I was in the public in entertainment for a long time. Some people may not know much, but they can start to think what they like about. But there are some people like you know me a lot. So I like people to have their own opinion. But myself, I regard myself as a simple man who came out to make a point, who came out to make a statement with the type of entertainment that I wanted, and I think I'm fulfilled by saying I've made that very statement as much as I could, and I have no regrets. And God has kept me alive at 80, and she's strong, she's healthy. So I like to regard myself as a lucky and simple.
How was growing up, sir? Growing up and
Growing up well, I don't know from what stage.
in terms of where were you born, sir? Where did you grow?
Yeah, these tourists have gone into several times. I mean, I was born in Ekoma, in Isha, Edo State, as a young fellow. During my father was a school, a school headmaster and a reverend, and my mom was a semi-illiterate sewing mistress in schools. And during my time in the whole of Fisher, there were only two secondary schools, only two secondary schools in Fisher, an associate college and Ishan. Asian Grammar School.
Association
So,
College.
Association College, Irua.
Okay.
That is where the senior academy.
Okay. Okay.
That is how I knew
Okay.
the senior academy, Chuba.
Chuba Academy.
But his younger brother, Dr. George, was my schoolmate. But no, not my schoolmate, but he was born the same year with Cotonou. I attended Western Western School in Benin City,
Okay.
and he attended Edo College, Benin City. So there were not many secondary schools. The whole of Israel, only two. So and for the people who want to go to secondary school, so we had to go to different places. We had to go to Benin, somewhere else. So I was lucky. I went to I went to Western Western School. Whose founder it was a private school. Whose founder is also from my place and a family friend. So it was easy for me to get entrance. And I grew up in Benin as my life. And from that time, I had friends who I said guided me, some senior friends. I've always been opportune to move with very senior friends. Because I can remember when I left secondary school, I was looking for a job. I walked into the minister's office, the Minister of Internal Affairs there in Midwest, because the region they had minister, Minister of Internal Affairs, when Midwest was created. I walked into the office because his son was my schoolmate. No, he was my A group and my schoolmate, but he was a minister. So it was me who introduced him to my guys. And I know so many people just about it. So I grew up like another, but my exposure was a little bit early because I was lucky to have senior friends.
But sir, at that time, what was the thing that was in your mind in terms of what you become?
Yes, you don't know. When one is young, as time developed, you start to think. Then everybody had ambition to be a doctor, to be a lawyer, to be an engineer, if you are able to make it. And then good, and then not too many universities there. So there was also the craze for the opportunity to travel abroad because it's cheaper and better, especially if your parents do not have the funds. So I also aspired that I will be this. But right from youth, I've always known that I will end up in in entertainment. But I never knew how. Because when I was still at school, I used to leave the school to go and do MCs in this obituary, this local thing, it was popular there. Obito, it's called Obito. But this outing, basically, they used to come to the school and, and line up for my services to come as a young. So I've always liked, because I'm an extrovert and I'm a Gemini, me, I'm a Gemini. So um, I said when I grew up, I would not say I'd be a doctor, engineer, but I knew that I would not be a nuisance. I would not be a nuisance. So I had that very thing. And that is why, coming back to the other question you asked me about what you feel, what are the lessons, you find that um, some of the things that happen, I believe things that happen never happen by chance. There is always a reason behind it. I may not know the reason. That all those my years of working social outing, MC or detours came to play heavily positive when I was running the club. This idea of saying that I don't see that, I don't see that idea. Or else, there are people that cannot stand for 20 minutes. So, also, all this sort of prepared me for 40 years' time of what I would do. So that is one of the lessons of life. So anything you do now, in some few years' time, in future, it will be a lesson. Even this discussion that I have, remember you have interviewed me several times, way back. And it is very interesting that after all these years, you are interviewing me at 80, and you yourself, you are getting older, and yet we still come to interact on this. So it shows that for every reason, there are so many journalists which you should know that the nature of my job made me to I don't want to mention it. That if you look at the man, you will weep. Because the way they took their job there was not the correct way. The way they took their job there, they were using it for blackmail, for to cause a problem. They were happy to destroy somebody's home. No, I'm not talking of stuff, sir. I'm not talking. There were deliberate attempts. The right forceful, total force. It is different. If, as I was running the club, you had that, I have a wife and I have other child outside, and you write about it. As long as it is truth, the only thing I can do is to look for a compromise. If I think that your writing is going to hurt me, I can call you and say, please, yes, it's a fact, but not that I will tell you that I will not fight you because it's a lie. The fact is a fact. So it's different from performance. And I know some people that I took it like life or death. But I've always told my friends, my young friends, even my elderly friends, that my policy is that anything you must make sure it is something that will act, that will be positive in another person's life. Because you can never tell. You can never tell. So many years back, now, after 30 years, we are sitting there. Not in the club now, it's a different one. So I remember this boy, I don't know where he is now, your boy, your first boy. He used to be your boy, he worked for you then. Okay. What's his name now? I used to call him one day. Then he was in England. He was in England. Okay. No. He was the first boy who came to interview. You sent him to Olumese. Okay. When Olumese lost his family, so I took him to the castle. We need to call him something boy. He became a member of the glamour. It was when your office was in not in where it is now, in
Oregon or Agilingbi.
I think in
Agilingbi.
Agilingbi. This was shit. Then later he went to London, he's back. I saw him back. Shortish. very well spoken, but it's your boy. He worked for, because you sent him to cover Olumese.
Yes.
So it was there I met him, and yeah, I think I remember he became a member of the Glamour Boys very well. There was one we are called something, but they need to catch your mind. Then there are so many people who were doing the same job. And I always say, any job you do, use the opportunity to make friends. Because you don't know what will be the next thing. If you be I'm a rich man, if you be I'm a millionaire, if you be I have everything. When I'm no more, even when I'm even single, I don't know when one of my children will run into you or into your own child. Then you mention, you say, who are you? You say, I'm Olumese. You say, which of the Olumese? Is it the government? Oh, you can never tell. So you should use anything you have to make friends. Any opportunity you have to make friends. Because friends are the ones that we count. And you know, that is, I'm loyal to my friends. And I want my friends to be loyal to me because friendship is what really is everlasting. If it's genuine.